Good evening, Britannia, and hello to the rest of the world. Welcome to 2CTV and the latest update from the Tommy Robinson saga. Yes, Justin Castro Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, at this point is holding Tommy Robinson as hostage instead of sending him home. Tommy Robinson was arrested 2 nights ago in Canada because of immigration papers issued. You would think that if you have an immigration issue, if you are an illegal migrant, Tommy Robinson is an illegal immigrant in Canada apparently, you would think that the solution is send him back, deport him back to the UK. Nope, they are holding him hostage, they've taken his passports away, none of it makes any sense. The only thing it is doing is it's backfiring so badly because Tommy Robinson's case is now global, everybody's talking about it. Justin Trudeau is becoming, losing his credibility. Of course, a couple of days ago, Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party also lost the key election in a seat that was always supposed to be Liberal. None of this is helping Justin. Poor Justin. And it's also making Tommy Robinson more popular and more famous. So, we are on 2CTV still waiting for Tommy Robinson to come on 2CTV live. In the meantime, let's talk about what's actually happening. All right. 2 nights ago, Tommy Robinson speaking at an event in Canada, and he was arrested outside the venue. We had 8 undercover police officers in plain clothing who came and took him away without explaining what was happening. And then they took him back to the police station. Then they said, you have some issues with your immigration papers. And then they held him for hours and hours. The interview that he had to do lasted at least 3 hours. Then they let him go a little bit, but they said you have to come back the next day, which was yesterday, to hand in your passport. Instead of being deported, they said, no, you're now the guest of Canada. You're going to stay here. They want him to basically lose all his money. They want him to spend all the money and to go through another court case potentially. And by the way, I mean, obviously, if Tommy Robinson was from the Middle East or North Africa, he could easily pick up the phone, call the United Nations and all these human rights groups and the left-wing lawyers to say, my human rights are being violated, this is an illegal detainment and everything else. It doesn't apply to Tommy, but if you were from North Africa or the Middle East, it would easily apply to you. Now, at this point, I know the whole thing is a little bit dodgy, but it's also, in a weird way, it's ludicrous and hilarious. It's funny because it's backfiring on Justin Trudeau. It's funny because they're making Tommy Robinson more famous. In fact, let's go to a quick clip from Tommy, because as I said, we are still waiting for Tommy Robinson to get ready to come on 2CTV live. Let's quickly go to this video.
The amount of free offers of hospitality, of free food, of dining, of dates, of everything that are flooding my inbox. Thank you, Canada's police. You really put me on the map. I'm inundated with 10 out of 10s. It's going insane. See you later.
Hang on, let's just clarify. Did Tommy Robinson say he has been receiving a lot of supports and invitations, but also dates, proposal dates? I love this. It's so good. All right, now it is at this point free advertising anyway for Tommy Robinson. In case some people in North America didn't know who Tommy was, now they know him. But on a serious note, when he went to hand over his passport to the authorities, he then obviously had a chat to see if they can come to some sort of resolution, some sort of result. One thing we discovered was that the discussion with the authorities themselves and the police and the judges, they admitted among themselves that this whole thing is backfiring because it's becoming an international news story. And when it becomes an international news story, then the media will be, even the generally mainstream media across the world will be asking basic questions. They're like, so can you explain why you are holding him hostage instead of deporting him back to the UK? So even they admitted. But Ezra Levant, obviously from Rebel Media, has been supporting Tommy throughout this whole process, a good friend of Tutsi TV. Ezra was there waiting outside the room, and when Tommy came out, they made a quick video. Big shout out to both, of course, Rebel News as well as Urban Scoop for this short clip that we have. They gave us the latest update. Let's go.
No, they've just refused. But they've refused. Not the officers, they've refused. They just said, it's come back. No, we're not changing the conditions. You're not allowed to leave this city. They don't even. They're not telling me when I need to go home either. They just said you're not allowed to leave the city.
You know, I thought
they really seemed like they were going to let us go.
I think the local cops thought, get Tommy out of our hair, stop the hurricane of global bad press, and get him on his way. I thought they would take the deal where I basically say, make me the cop.
And I said I'll fly home. I said I want to go to Toronto. I'll fly straight home once I've done my event.
But they kicked it upstairs to the boss. In fact, they were late. They said, give us half an hour. We got back there. They weren't ready. They needed 5 minutes. They needed 10 minutes. They were obviously having a back and forth debate with their Ottawa bosses.
And then they come back, and because we had the immigration lawyer on the phone, they come back and said, no, you're only allowed 5 days. From when you do a speaking event, you're allowed 5 days. And the immigration lawyer said, no, you're not. You're allowed 5 different days. So
we thought you guys were going to wait for us.
Oh, that's all right.
That's the use of representative. So if you guys go to the lawyer, that's already printed off. You just
Okay.
fill it in.
Okay, thank you.
That's my card.
Thank you.
Officer Jobin is not going to be available after tomorrow, but
Okay.
so I'll be covering until Wednesday, and then he's back Wednesday, so that's his card.
So I'll give all this to our solicitor?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very
a
much.
lot, thanks a
Cheers.
lot. So when I say give all this to our solicitor, it's because they said, well, now we're not letting you do that. What are you doing next? And obviously the immigration lawyer was on the phone. I said, well, we're going to court.
Yeah.
We're going to court tomorrow, hopefully.
I mean, you can see those were them right there. We have to give us some paperwork here because we're retaining Kevin Zemp, who's the leading immigration lawyer in the city. I feel like we've had some really good representation. Let me give you an example of that. They came up with some rule. They just invented.
They can't roll with us, say you're not allowed to talk for 5 days. And he just said, no,
our
you're wrong.
lawyer knew the law, and he read it. He said, no, you're not allowed to do a seminar of more than 5 days.
Yeah.
Tommy gave a speech, and he's going to give another speech. Our lawyer caught that. That was obviously a trick that someone in Ottawa cooked up. These two here were like reading from a script they were handed. I'm not mad at these two.
No, they don't want to be doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know who's pulling the strings in Ottawa, but I know this. We have an excellent lawyer who on the phone said, let's go
Let's
and
go to court.
rumble.
He said, let's go straight to court.
Yeah.
He said, this is a free speech fight. Let's go to court.
I'm excited about it because I think we have the moral high ground here. Tommy is exercising free speech, and they're stopping him from talking about free speech. This is a battle that's happening in the UK, happening in Canada, happening around the world, this free speech battle. I want to tell you these are great lawyers. Alain Hepner on the criminal side, Kevin Zemp on the immigration side. I need your help, though. I haven't got the legal bills yet. I'm a little bit scared. If you can go to savetommy.com, because I think we're going to be in court as soon as tomorrow.
Do you know what? Say we win. That's what I said. I said, say we go to court tomorrow and we beat them and we win. And then we go to Toronto for our speech and our event. It's going to blow. It's going to be massive. Yeah. Because they've tried to stop. They don't want the public hearing what we're coming to say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited. But again, I don't know how much all the lawyers are going to cost, but we're hoping we're in court tomorrow. If you've contributed, I'm personally grateful. It's a battle for free speech, and it's a battle we want to win. And at least we want to be in the fight, and we are in the fight.
If you have tickets for the Toronto event, don't give up. We're trying to save that Toronto event.
We're coming.
So we're not refunding your tickets yet until we have our day in court. All right, we better get going. We've got a lot of stuff to do, but thanks for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, so obviously a big shout out and thank you to my good friend Ezra Levant from Rebel Media for being there to help Tommy with all this saga. The interesting thing about this is that obviously yesterday we reported on Tutsi TV following the arrest of Tommy. Jordan Peterson got involved, obviously, on X, on social media, and he said, well, we're still going to hang out, and Tommy, you're going to come on the podcast, come on my podcast, and everything else. Now we are hearing that Jordan Peterson might actually be on his way to Calgary. He's going all the way there because Tommy is basically, he's not allowed to leave. It's funny. The liberal media in the United Kingdom, all the left-wing pundits, Labour Party, the Liberal Democrats, they're all loving it, by the way. They've been calling Tommy Robinson an illegal immigrant in Canada. When you are an illegal immigrant, you will be deported. In Tommy's case, you are held hostage. I mean, actually, to be fair, in defense of the Canadian government and the British government, we seem to be also having the same policy with other illegal immigrants. Because when you're an illegal immigrant in Canada or the UK, you don't get deported, you are held as hostage. You are forced to stay here. You are forced to take our free tax money. You are forced to take free houses, forced to take benefits on taxpayer. It's such a tough life. So I have a feeling, I think because Tommy obviously just before he went to Canada, he went on a holiday recently, and he was, I think it was on Seaside. I think Tommy Robinson got suntanned. I have a feeling the Canadian government assumed he's from North Africa or the Middle East. I think they are doing him a favor. I think they think he is he's from the Islamic world and he deserves to stay in Canada. They are granting him asylum at this point. It's so stupid. The whole thing is so stupid. Anyway, let's quickly get to you guys. A big shout out to Keith, one of our regulars, of course, always there for TCTV. Thank you so much for the super chat. Susan as well. Super sticker from Susan, and Stone Island as well. Thank you so much, Stone Island. And Mike, of course, says it is imperative that every patriot attend the 27th of rally in London, Trafalgar Square. Canada House is just the one side of the square and will become a place to hold the 2 minutes of hatred. Oh, I completely forgot about that. Of course, Canada House, the building itself is literally right next to Trafalgar Square and where the rally on the 27th is going to be held. At this point, if they somehow find a way to keep Tommy in Canada on the 27th, of course, the rest of the team and myself, we are there to continue the rally, hopefully. We'll talk to Tommy. We could do it. He could do a Zoom call on big screen and we'll be right outside the Canada House. If Tommy is freed and released, of course, release the hostages. If Tommy as a hostage is released, we're still going to go outside Canada House. I'm going to talk to Tommy about this idea because I think it's important to send a message saying, you are in the Commonwealth. Stop being like Pakistan. It's not a real country. Stop pretending to be like Pakistan. You are supposed to be a democracy, Mr. Trudeau. Super chat from Trooper Bear. Tommy, the enemy of the state? Trudeau, the enemy of free speech and liberty. The thing is, with Justin Trudeau, I think the problem I have with him, I don't really want to give him too much credit to call him an enemy of anything. The guy is completely insane, but he's also delusional. He is young and sharp and smart enough to know what is right and what is wrong. So he can't use any excuse like Joe Biden. Oh, I'm old, I don't know what I'm doing. But the man has no idea. The guy is a puppet. Justin is a puppet. Yeah, I don't want to turn him into a supervillain. There are people behind him pulling the strings and they are laughing at us because they want you and they want me to attack Justin Trudeau. To just focus on him. Because when he's done being useful to the establishment, they're going to get rid of him. They're going to bring in another Justin Trudeau. A perfect example is Scotland. We had, of course, Nicola Sturgeon. She stopped being useful. They replaced her with Humza Useless Yusuf. Then he got into trouble. They replaced him again with John Swinney. They're all exactly the same. Because it's not really about them, it's about those behind the scenes. So you can shout at Justin Trudeau all you want. And the poor guy, he didn't really hang out with his real father, Fidel. So, he's got dad issues. But nobody's perfect. Fidel Castro. Anyway, Patriotic Wanderer said, illegal detainment of Tommy Robinson by Trudeau is to stop Tommy from being present at any of his planned gatherings in Canada and possibly ours in London in July. So one thing, because obviously when Tommy comes on TCTV, either later on or tomorrow, and we're still waiting for him, obviously he's dealing with all that mess anyway, so I have an idea which I will be discussing it with Tommy himself. He's in touch with Jordan. And Jordan Peterson obviously is going to go there. All the other events that he has planned over the next few days, next week, he needs to get in touch. His team needs to get in touch with all the people who have booked to turn up. Get every single one of them to go to Calgary. Every single person, and he should do an event from the balcony of his hotel. That's how you should do it. Go full on Julian Assange at this point. Actually, also, he could literally just walk into the British Embassy and seek asylum because he's an illegal immigrant in Canada. But clearly, they're forcing him to be granted asylum, just like other illegal immigrants. So he needs to now seek asylum with the UK, with the British Embassy. So I'll also give him that idea. Might be smart. Paul says Trudeau held most of his employers to ransom, so holding Tommy isn't a problem for him, really, is it? Yeah, that's a good point as well, Paul. John says free advertising. Go get him, Tommy. God bless you for standing up for British values. Frankie says Tommy Robinson does great things exposing the Rotherham grooming gangs and everything else, but at the end of the day, he's controlled opposition. Is it just because is it because he's supporting the Jewish community? all the Zionist shekels, guys, all the Zionist shekels. In that case, I'm all to control opposition, right? All the shekels. I'm still waiting for the shekels, by the way. If Mossad are watching this, I'm waiting for my check. Come on. Even Bin Laden would have paid me by now. Bin Laden was very good at paying his invoices, by the way. He was always on time. If he received an invoice, he would pay it on time. Come on, Mossad, I'm waiting. Ruby, that's the name, I'm not singing the song. Ruby, he says, Canada, let Tommy into the country. Why? Because the UK government and Trudeau are working together. That was my conspiracy theory the other night when he was first arrested. Commonwealth. Tigapoo says, trying to cancel the 27th and too stupid to realize it's not all about Tommy. That's actually a genius comment. Because, firstly, the whole thing has now been organized by the wider team. 27th could still go on even if they hold Tommy as hostage. That's one. Two, if he's in his hotel room or wherever he is, he can still do a Zoom call on a big screen. And even if he's not able to do that, we're going to put a massive picture of him on the screen like he's some sort of Islamic martyr waiting to meet his 72 virgins. Do not turn Tommy into a martyr. I know Tommy. He's a good friend of mine. We're all troublemakers. Do not turn us into martyrs. We'll become worse. And now, of course, liberals are watching this and be like, whoa, Maya Tusi just sent out a threat to the Western world. Anyway, Tamsin says, meanwhile, illegals are committing horrible crimes in Canada and not being deported. It is obvious what is going on. It's brazen, yeah. Our government must be complicit. I really hope at this point that the Canadian government and British governments, all these guys, I really hope they're complicit. I really hope that they are the villains. I'll tell you why. Because I will have no respect for incompetence and complacency. None of this makes any sense if the real answer is, oh, because our governments and our politicians are just stupid or incompetent. I don't have any respect for. I would rather deal with a villain who knows exactly what he's doing. I really hope Justin Trudeau is doing this on purpose and not because his government is all over the place and they're all stupid. Because I have no respect for idiocy. Brian says, free Tommy. As a Canadian, I am ashamed of what they are doing to him. Thank you so much, Brian, from Canada. And Nisbet says, they don't care about Tommy's status. They just want to destroy him financially. Sending out a message to all freedom fighters. I know this is out of context and people have their own opinions, but the same applies to Alex Jones and Infowars. Whether you agree or disagree with Alex Jones, whether you which side you are with the Charlottesville stuff and of course the Sandy Hook stuff and everything else, but the decision, the way the establishment in the US went after Alex Jones, the verdict and the sentence, for him to pay millions and millions of dollars, which is not really a normal punishment, even for a millionaire. It was simply to make him go bankrupt. That was literally the only reason. You don't even have to like or dislike Alex Jones to see exactly what was going on there. Cop Watcher, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, I think both governments are trying to stop Tommy from being in London on the 27th of July. Free Tommy. But as the previous comment said, it's a stupid idea because it's not going to work. The rally goes beyond Tommy, and he would probably even love it if we continue without him and just do another event afterwards anyway. Another super chat, this time from Israel. There we go. That's my Mossad shekels have arrived. Aaron says same as different country. He is over targets. And Anthony says from the US, I find it funny that Tommy was arrested on immigration charges when he was allowed into Canada when he got off the plane. Looks politically motivated. Exactly. They could have stopped him at the airport. It's all based on lies. That's the whole point of this. They only just decided to check his paperwork after he left the airport. What a coincidence, right? Vanderfolk says, donate to help Tommy. Every little helps. Just pray that they are not conspiring him to keep him till before 29th of July. This is all a planned conspiracy, in my opinion. Another comment. There we go. We got from Israel saying, your shekels. Thank you, Israel. And Jake's Cotton Parts. You advertising your business or something, saying consider a super chat fundraiser for Tommy. Thanks. You could go to savetommy.com website thing, whatever it's called, which we put it on the screen earlier on, if you want to help him as well. Music and fiction saying the process is the punishment. That's actually also a very good point, because it's also to create frustration and intimidation. That's actually a very, very smart point to be made. Because every single time Tommy goes through these sort of things, unjustified, they do make him exhausted. You know, he keeps a straight face. He's brave. He's a fighter. But it does get to you. It's frustrating. They take it all the energy out of you. That's why they do this as well. Claire says, Labour gets in and they will ban the rally. Big mistake. Well, that's... Okay, so obviously they can. Well... They can find a way, right? Labour government will be 5th of July. In about a couple of weeks, next week, Labour will form a government. The rally is at the end of July. Technically, the Labour government could find an easy way to ban it without coming across as dictatorship, right? They can find a legal way to ban it. And I don't want to sound mean, but maybe I kind of want them to do it. Because more people are waking up to our movement. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of people, when they heard the name Tommy Robinson, they would be scared. Like, oh, is that Hitler? Oh, is this some sort of far-right thing? Now they're getting to know him. They're getting to know Maya Tusi. They're getting to know Paul Thorpe and everybody else in the movement. And we proved to everybody on the 1st of June, the rally, family-friendly, normal people from up and down the country, no skinhead football hooligan boo, no neo-Nazi, right? If they do this, if the Labour Party ban this rally, it's just going to create a bigger movement, because we're just going to simply postpone the event. Next time, instead of having 20,000 people, because this time I'm expecting at least 50,000 people to turn up, you know, let's not be optimistic, but you know. Don't be surprised if they ban it and we have to postpone it. We could have 100,000, 200,000 people coming. And these are normal people who have normal jobs and lives. They're coming from across the country. It's not like a left-wing BLM or Palestinian protest where on a Tuesday afternoon you're going to have a bunch of weirdos who don't actually have a job, or on trust funds who just turn up for protests for no reason. If you get 200,000 people, normal people who have their own problems and their own jobs and their own financial issues from up and down the country to get to London, that is a win. So my message to Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner is, do it. Go full on Stalin. I dare you. It didn't work out for Justin Castro Trudeau. It's not going to work out for you either. Okay, anyway. Super chat from Michelle saying the Canadian government just want some British D. Oh, no. To be fair, Tommy did say he's getting a lot of date proposals while he's there. Slightly concerning. Not that I'm jealous, but, you know, where are my proposals? I'm kidding. I have a girlfriend. Robin says, still like the attention though. Robin says, free the Luton one. True that. And another super sticker as well from Reddy. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to come back later on shortly because we have a quick update from the UK elections. It's getting juicier and juicier every day. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this for the first time, thank you for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. And if you want to support us to remain independent, otherwise I'm going to go sell out for shekels money, or I don't know, any other money, go on 2c.tv and join 2C TV Plus, our independent platform, and get access to all the premium content. And I've been saying this the last couple of days, but we are introducing the new programs, new shows, new documentaries over the next few days and week. Hopefully our upcoming documentary, Britain's Multiculturalism Myth, will be up on 2C TV Plus by next week-ish. Subscribe to 2C TV Plus. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.